Hello, thanks for tuning in and welcome to the pool party. I hope you can swim because we're definitely diving into the deep end with a huge splash of truth, facts, evidence, information, and proof. Swim. Say what you mean. It's talk about talking. How we listen, how we hear, how we speak, how we hear what we're listening to when we speak, how a listener hears what we're saying, if what we're saying, what they're actually hearing and or understanding. Is it clear? Swim. Say what you mean. Well, that's just the beginning of understanding, because after we get that understanding, how do we accept it? How we respond if it's not what we expect is paramount. Are you okay with the truth? Are you man, woman, human, or spiritual enough to accept the truth? Let's find out. Welcome to The Swimming Pool with your host, Travis Bridges.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Swimming Pool with your host, Travis Bridges. That would be me. Good evening, happy Wednesday. Here's hoping your Wednesday is off to a fantastic start, that you had a wonderful Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and that you're ready for a fat Thursday and Friday and a killer Saturday. How about that? Wouldn't that be awesome? Of course it would be. Well, this is SWIM, SWYM. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. And this live stream is about talking. Talk about talking. I like to explain that every time because I want to make sure that this live stream has a foundation. It has, what would you call this? Like a place to be, like, something to recognize. There's a word I'm looking for, but it's just not coming to my head right now. But this live stream is about talking, listening, hearing, paying attention, making sure you heard what someone said, making sure what they said is what they meant, and then you can really get down to the nuts and bolts of what's actually going on. Because as you very well know, many times conversations will go on and somebody will say, well, I thought you said, and then they'll say, well, no, this is what I meant. And before you know it, it's a funky little mess going on. But if we can bring awareness to how we listen, we can cut down on 99.999% of any confusion, and that goes for anywhere in the whole world on any platform, whether it's in your house, whether it's on your job, whether it's in traffic. Let's just say, for instance, you pull up to the stoplight and you're behind someone who's doing something in their car, and then the light turns green, and they don't know the light is green, and you're in a hurry. And you blow the horn, and then you back up and you go around them. And as you drive by them, you say, yep. And then you find out that they were doing something that was actually life-saving, that they just could not go. Then maybe you feel bad. Sometimes we have to be patient with things that we just don't understand, and even more patient with those things that we don't like. You ever not liked something and then you found yourself nasty, and then it's like, after you thought about it, oh, I should have done better. I was just all out of place. Well, then that's what this is about. I'm just here to bring awareness, to try to cut down on some of the stuff, even when we get to that point. When you need to talk, talk. Don't be stubborn. Okay? Don't be selfish. Don't be bad. Okay. All right. I do have a caller standing by, and I've got something interesting to talk about. I do have a guest confirmed for next week that's going to be interesting. I thought I was going to have that guest this week, but it just didn't quite work out that way. And I've got a trustee standing by right now that's going to be good, I believe. Hello, Kimberly. Hello, Christine. Hello, Anthony Morrow. I want at least you three to know that no matter where I am or what I'm doing, You call my name and they're going to let you to the front, okay? Every time. I mean that. Thank y'all so much. It means a lot to me. And here's something. I know that you guys are on because you're subscribed to my channel, but I be checking during the week. I check during the week and I see that I have quite a few number of views, and I think I have what I call hideout viewers. They don't subscribe, but they just kind of sneak in and check what's going on, and that's good. There's a name for those kind of folk, and I'm so glad to have you aboard. If you're watching me now, or if you're watching me later in the week, or if you're watching me even a year, 6 months from now, thank you so much for the support. Get the concept, okay? I think that's the word I was looking for earlier. The concept is just bringing awareness to how we listen and how we hear, how we pay attention, and what we do with information after we have gone through the whole gamut of examining facts, truth, proof, all of that. And then what do we do when we get that truth? Do we govern ourselves based on how we feel or what we know? Good question. Okay, I'm going to go to the phone line and I'm going to get my caller. I'm not even going to take a break, and I'm going to get right into it. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, awesome.
Good evening.
Oh, how you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
Not bad at all. It's been a long time since you've been on. I miss your voice. By the way, you have a really nice voice. Anyone ever told you that?
I've heard that before, yes.
It really is nice. It cuts through and projects, and you're clear. You know, not that other guests are not clear, but there's just something about your voice that just sounds, what is the word I'm looking for? You just have this warm, sensitive, loving, and kind, caring voice. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. I'm glad it, I guess, projects that way. That's very complimentary. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, I have two things we're going to talk about, and I'm going to tell you as we get into it. So let me scroll down here so that I can see. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this one. Okay, we're going to talk about the first one first and then the second one second. That makes sense, doesn't it? The first one first. Okay, we just recently celebrated the King holiday, and happy King holiday to you and to everybody else. Dr. Martin Luther King was a super fantastic pioneer of the civil rights movement, and he left an imprint on everybody that ever came into contact with him, or even to this day. Some of his speeches are still gut-wrenching, and he really spoke to the conscience, particularly of Americans, but he is world renowned for his non-violent attitude. And I'm glad he did that, because I would have been Dr. Martin Luther King Travis Bridges, and I'm not sure if I necessarily believe in the non-violent method, but I'm glad he did. I'm glad he went through it. And I'm glad that, we're able to celebrate some of the benefits that he created for us today. But as I was celebrating, I came across something that hit home for me. And I'm going to put it on the screen right now. Caller, I know you're there. I'm still just kind of talking. I'm going to get your thoughts on it. I'm going to put it on the screen, and it's a quote from Dr. King, and it says, "Let no man pull you low enough to hate him." I'm going to say that again, and then we're going to talk about it. Let no man pull you low enough to hate him. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Is that deep to you? Tell me what that means to you before I get into it. What does it mean to you?
Well, I believe that people around you, people in your orbit, people you can come in contact with, may inspire some kind of intense emotion. And I think we need to check ourselves so that we don't let that happen. We need to figure out what our response is. And we can't let something that somebody has done to us take us to a point of hate. We might get angry. Anger kind of comes and goes. But hate is like a cancer that is self-destructive, and it magnifies all around you. If you're harboring some type of hate, it's almost like it's not just for that one person, thing, place, event, but it like absorbs into every fiber of your being if you allow it to consume you.
And it
So I,
definitely is, as you said, it's like a cancer because once you start that hate inside your head and inside your heart, it can go through generations and all through everything that you do. And it's easy to be upset about someone that has done something or said something to you that's a little less than perfect. But you have to be careful. That's how we have to be our brother's keeper sometimes, and we have to remind each other, to be cool sometimes. And this hit me because I had to examine myself. I was acknowledging the King holiday, and before I could start listening to any of his speeches or watching any of the celebrations on TV, I came across this that I just put on the screen, and it was just amazing to me because it resonated with me. I had to come clean and I had to truly ask for forgiveness because there are some things and some people and an actual man that I am not happy with in this day and time. And then if you read in the description of my live stream, I can't remember who said it, but they said hating someone, I think it is, hating someone is like drinking poison and expecting them or waiting for them to die. And that resonated with me. And I thought to myself, I carried, this aggravation for a long time. And I'm going to go ahead and give myself a pass. I'm going to say hate, just because for the sake of saying hate, because that's what he said. But I think I really was a little more aggravated, at my life situation than anything. And I had to check myself. And I checked myself and I did what my mama told me. She said, talk to God about it, check deep within inside yourself, and then take a deep breath, breathe, and let it out. And that's what I did. And I feel really good now. And I'm going to tell you why I feel good. Because I'm on day 18 of 75 hard. And there's something about investing in yourself that causes everything else to kind of work itself out. I know a few months ago, I wasn't working out. I wasn't eating right. I was kind of a little down on myself. And every little thing that happened just caused me to worry and stress so much that, I had to, slow down, in other words. So I just wanted to share that with you and get your feedback. What do you think about Dr. King in general? Tell me if you can, what is your favorite speech or thing about him? What did he leave you with?
well, I think he was a very, very brave man, and he was not afraid to point out all the misgivings of our society and the history that brought us to where we are for all people. We have a shared history, and I think that he put a magnifying glass on it and tried to make all of us aware of what was inhumane and what needed to change. Um, I would like to ask you a question about your feelings of hate. Do you think that hate was a strong emotion of anger or shame or fear? it seemed to have affected you in a painfully physical way and emotionally. But do you also think it was a protective emotion, a response, a protective emotional response to what was coming against you?
I'm going to try to decipher what I think you said. Um, I think hate is just a strong word for just disappointment more than anything. You know, the word hate has a negative connotation to it, and it has to be the epitome of dislike. But we're taught to just, to not hate. And I think your question was it a protection for me? No, it wasn't a protection for me. I was miserable whenever I find myself easing into hating something or someone. And we have to be okay with what is, because I think it was, I'm gonna call a name. Joel Osteen said, things that happen are not happening to you, they're happening for you. And if we can change our attitude sometimes about things we go through, then we can get through those things a whole lot easier. And as I thought about, Dr. King and his statement on the King holiday and for the last couple days, and then I've been listening to Andy Frisella, who I'm going to name drop again. I usually don't do this, but, I'm on it. So, he was talking about when things come up, you got to keep going. You can't let things, people, or situations stop you. So, in trying to answer your question, no, hate was not a protection for me. No, it didn't do anything good for me. But realizing that I was putting too much energy into that definitely caused me to change. Did I answer your question? I kind of got lost in it.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think that hate comes up when we feel hurt, angry, shame, afraid, and it's a very strong emotion, and all it does is hurt ourselves physically and emotionally. It never does anything to the other person that you're hating.
Exactly. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to try to move off of this. And I was thinking of this when you were speaking, and I had to stop talking in order to remember it. But this is one thing I do know in all of my years of living. People that are hurt themselves and that have unresolved issues within themselves, they have a tendency to repeat that in some kind of way. We've all heard it. Hurt people hurt people. Well, it's true. People that are acting inhumane or uncivilized, so to speak, if you check their history, and I'll say us, if you check our history, if we're doing anything like hating, and I'll speak for myself, it's because maybe I felt like I've been hated on and I haven't, resolved some of those hate issues. It's not until we deal with ourselves that we can kind of find some relief from that and then start to be okay with things, when things don't go perfect or right all the time. We've got to find a way to get through without a retaliation spirit. Dr. King said it best, nonviolent. Violent doesn't have to come with, physical hitting someone or beating someone or, doing something physical. You can just be nasty to someone, and I think that's going to be my thing moving forward as we go into, more of, Black History Month coming up with February. I'm just going to be a little more like Dr. King, be nonviolent in everything that aggravates me. And I'm going to say this too. When we are healed inside and when we're doing the things that, we're supposed to be doing, it's easier to do that. Like I told you, I'm on, 75 Hard. Google it and find out what it is. It's pretty cool. I've done it a few times. Of course, I've fallen back into the ditch, but I'm getting out right now and I'm feeling good. It's a little easier to get through stuff when you feel better about yourself. So I'm going to leave you with that thought and leave my audience with that thought. When we're not doing...
I'd like to just say one thing about that. The fact that you are now focusing on your own well-being and you're putting yourself first, your own emotional, physical, psychological, and soulful state first, it's easier to allow those other things to not penetrate so deeply, because you have a focus and you have an energy that's going to something positive. Mm-hmm. So I commend you for sticking. I've heard of 75 hard before. I've never done it, but the people that have done it tell me it's really difficult to do. But once you've completed it, there's a sense of accomplishment. So, kudos to you for sticking with it. And I'm going to say, don't lose your focus.
I won't. And there's something about, the Bible talks about, taste and see that the Lord is good. I'm going to paraphrase that and kind of apply that in this situation. When you taste a little freedom, you don't want to go back to that place. Now that I'm starting to come out of that ditch and I'm focusing on myself a little more, I don't want to go back to that mean place, that hateful place, that dark, dreary place that I find other people in, and even myself. Sometimes if I'm not careful, I'll slip into that also. But, the last 18 to 20 days or so, I've been committed and I've been doing it, and it's just good. And I'm happy and I feel good. My body's starting to change, and I'm just excited and I'm happy about, what's to come. So I'm going to move off of that hate thing and just remember, let no man cause you to hate him, no matter what they do or say, whether it's your husband, your wife, your cousin, and them. Don't let people cause you to hate them. You don't have to tolerate mess, but don't get yourself too caught up into where you start doing hateful things, because hating in general, whether you hate someone or doing hateful things, it's like doing something and then drinking the poison and thinking somebody else is going to die. You're creating hate, but then inside, you're not sleeping well. People that are nasty and mean, they don't sleep well. They act like they do, but that you can't. It just doesn't, it's like oil and water. You just can't go together. You can't be nasty and mean and then rest well. It's just not how it's meant to be. If you have any closing words on that, I'll let you say it, but I'm just going to move on from that, because the subject that I've got coming up next is in here. And it's interesting, and I want to talk about it. And we're going to be gone. I'm going to try to let us go in about 20 minutes if we can get through tops. So any closing words on that before we go into the next one?
Well, I'm just going to say hate is a very destructive emotion, and it hurts the person that chooses to do the hating. So I'm glad that we can talk about it and recognize that it's our response to the adversities around us that allow us to grow and move forward, or to get stuck. So there you have it.
I will co-sign that. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to play this bit, and I know you're, at Control Central there. I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to mute and unmute, because I want you to hear what I'm going to play that triggered this topic, and then we're going to talk about it. So go ahead and get yourself ready to mute your line and then unmute so you can hear what I'm going to play. If you miss it, that's fine. Don't freak out. I'll tell you, about what it says. But it's interesting, and I can't wait to get into it. So mute your phone now, and then I'm going to give you about 3 seconds to pot up your system so that you can hear this, okay? Y'all stand by, okay? All right, stand by.
Now.
Here we go.
I don't like makeup. I'm against makeup. I don't think it's good for women, and I don't think they really need to be using it, honestly. I think it takes away.
That's awesome.
Makeup it's capitalizing on women's insecurities when it's something that they can easily fix. I think it takes away from a woman's natural beauty, and also it is so bad for you. Like, you think about how skin absorbs things. When you read the ingredients on a foundation bottle, what is in it? You can't even pronounce it. It's
okay. So I'm going to give my delay time a little bit to go so that my guest can come back. It's usually about a 9-second delay. So guest, let me know when you're finished with that, and then we'll get on with it. By the way, she's talking about makeup, and I ran across that feed. Are you back with me, guest?
I'm back, yes, I am.
Okay. So, don't ask me why that grabbed me in the collar and I shared it. And believe it or not, I did get a little blowback from a few of my colleagues who had something to say. I know for sure that my sharing that was definitely taken out of context. And I want to talk about it. And before I talk about it, I want to say how I feel about makeup. Normally, I let my guests talk and then I give my closing, but I want to talk about how I feel. First of all, I'm not talking about the cosmetic industry or the makeup industry. I'm not saying anything at all positive or negative about makeup artists or people who need makeup for medical or cosmetic reasons, people who just have low self-esteem and want to cake it on. I think one of my comments to one of my friends was like, clowns wear makeup, or makeup is for clowns. And I even use the term drag queen. I hope I don't, offend anybody by saying, but if you've looked at people who identify as drag queens, they have a lot of cake on their face and they're trying to imitate the epitome of femininity, so to speak. And it's a lot of makeup, and clowns are the same way. They put a lot of makeup on. So I made reference to that. And I guess in some kind of way, people that like makeup or use makeup or make makeup, can be touched by that. So when I made my comment, or I saying what, let me just say this. I'm not a big makeup person. I mean, as a man, I don't have to worry about makeup unless I'm on some serious lighting on stage and some camera people want to do some kind of special effects. I'm not interested in wearing makeup or anything like that. But as it relates to women, I can do without makeup for someone that I would be interested in. Is it attractive, and do women look nice when they're made up? Yes. And I don't want to spill all the beans. Now I want to get your thoughts on makeup, and then I'm going to go into it. So what are your thoughts about makeup?
Well, I have to say that there is a lot of, pressure on women to look good, to be attractive.
From who?
From just how they present themselves. People have different attractions, what they have preferences for. A smile, nails, skin, hair, body parts. So I think enhancing your already your attributes already might be one way of looking at makeup. Okay, as you get older, where gravity takes over, you try to do the best you can to present yourself in the best light. And, I don't see anything wrong with somebody who's trying to enhance already their features, let's say. I've never been much on heavy-duty things, like tattooing. I think women are tattooing freckles on their face now, and I didn't realize that was a thing until yesterday. And so I'm wondering what is behind somebody who wants to do that. So for me, I was in the corporate world. How you look how you present yourself is very important. So you want to present, at least in my mind, the best attributes that you have. Can I do a complete makeover and change my identity? No, I don't believe that's possible. So I guess that's my kind of impulsive take on makeup.
Okay, I appreciate
They
that.
have more.
That's
I
okay.
may
No,
have
no,
more
no.
to
We'll,
say.
we'll let it unfold. I'm trying to. I'm not going to stay on it too long. But let me just ask you some questions. Do you think men, as it relates to women or their woman, do you think men like makeup? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Have you ever known or ever heard a man say, "Oh, honey, put on some makeup, please"?
Not in that way, but they might say something like, "Oh, your roots are getting a little gray," or "Oh, you used to have lashes and you don't anymore," or "Oh, you know, I like your hair up or down or a certain way. I like it when you wear something."
Okay, hold on. Let me cut you off for a second. Okay. When you went into, I can't imagine saying a man still having a face on his head or a head on his face, telling a woman your roots are showing. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about foundation, lipstick, rouge, eyeliner, eyeshadow, drawing on eyebrows and making them thicker or thinner, or plucking them or doing anything like that, just with makeup on the face, not hair or eyelashes or anything like that. You ever
Well, I
heard?
think if a woman has a unibrow, I think she might want to take care of that.
No.
That might be obvious.
What I'm saying is, do you think men require or request makeup?
No.
Right. Okay. So, okay, yeah. Thanks for answering that. Now, let me also tell you. I was saying I didn't want to tell everything. Again, this is no knock to people who wear makeup, because some people need it. Some people do look better with it. And, people make a lot of money in the makeup industry, and that's cool. This is no knock at all. This is just a personal thought for me and someone that I would be attracted to or involved with. Makeup is definitely not necessary. And I would rather see what I'm seeing the same all the time, as opposed to, wait, who was that yesterday or this morning or last night? What was that about? And men won't say it because we know it's a big industry. We know it's big, and it's like, we're not going to knock it in any kind of way. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to tiptoe and be so careful. It's not what I'm doing. But I want to try to talk about what it's compared to. And I'm going to be a little bit graphic, okay? Okay. As a man, let's see, how can I be nice about this? As a man, if I put on a Superman suit and I put on, nice pectorals, and nice arms, and I put a sock in my pants, to look well endowed and enhanced. Lord, please don't let me get in trouble for using that as an example. But if I created these things that made me look more masculine or appealing to a woman, and I'm all in the streets or wherever I am at work, as you said, in the corporate world, I'm out there looking like, the Incredible Hulk. And then if I date you or I go out, and then later on in life, you take that stuff off, and no, I take that stuff off. I take that stuff off. And then I see something different. It's like, you see something different, or a woman sees something different. They're going to say, like, what's that about? Now, if men were doing that all over the world, all over the country, just putting on all this stuff to look a certain way, and then when we got home, we look a totally different way, subconsciously, it does something. Again, we're not going to say anything because we don't want to create any trouble, but we don't really want to see all that stuff, and then see this different person later on. I'm trying to be so careful. So I just gave you an example. And is my example in comparison over exaggerated, or what? If I showed up on the beach and I had this outfit on that made me look 100 pounds lighter and with muscle and no body fat, and again I had a sock in my pants that was bringing attention to, making myself more appealing to some women, but then that's not really who I was. What would that say about me? And what would you think after you saw me take off all that stuff?
Well, I guess I would have to liken it to body enhancements like breast augmentation or butt lifts or facelifts or something like that. I would probably have to liken it. But a sock in your pants is removable, and I mean, you're not going to be able to hide anything with that. And I think it's pretty, how shall I say, superficial to be just being attracted to somebody with those type of enhancements. Bottom line, when we're all standing naked in front of each other, the reality of who you are as a person is the depth that a person is willing to get to know you, like you, love you, and care about you in a soulful way, in a personality. I don't know that it's all physical. Now, those might be things that would attract us in the beginning. They're lustful and they might energize us in a certain way. But in the end, when you're home and naked and in bed or in front of a mirror or with someone else, there's no facade there. I mean, I don't know how you can get around that.
Okay. I think you're kind of sort of making my point, and that's going to allow me to exit left a little sooner than I thought. You said, you compared it to a butt lift or a breast augmentation. Those are things that are maybe a little bit more permanent. So even after you are, unveil yourself or whatever you want to call it, that's still kind of there. I want it to stick with the stuff that goes on the face. When you take that off, it's not who you are. I think most makeup that I see in public, especially at not corporate, but what is the word I'm looking for? Formal functions, or, it enhances or changes a person at least a third. Because the way a person looks with that stuff on and versus they take it off, it's definitely a different. And naturally, it's subconscious doing something different to the mind. When you see it in the day, and then at night, it's something different. So again, I want to reiterate, I'm not knocking the industry. I'm not knocking makeup artists. I'm not knocking people who wear makeup. As a matter of fact, please, some people do need it, and for people for medical reasons, sometimes people are disfigured for whatever reason. Makeup does help. But I'm just saying, me personally, as a man, and being attracted to a woman as a heterosexual man, makeup is not something that I request. I don't think it's necessary. And if I met someone and was involved with them, if they did not wear not one tube of lipstick, I would be happy. And most men are not going to say that. And I'm not speaking for any other man, but I know that, it's not something we really, really care for. It makes us any difference. So I'm just going to leave it there. That wasn't bad at all, was it?
No, not at all. I guess if I'm thinking about the makeup and a woman's special day on a wedding or something, she wants to look her very best. And, I think it's just an enhancement. I don't think it has to be any kind of a clown look. You know what I'm saying? Some people like it. Some people are very insecure and think that all of that will help them out. But I don't think that's, I don't think it's necessary. I think it's just an enhancement. I don't think it has to be any kind of a clown look. You know what I'm saying? Some people are very insecure and think that all of that will help them out. But I don't think that's, I don't think it has to be any kind of a clown look. You know what I'm saying? Some people are very insecure and think that all of that will help them out. But I don't think that's the beginning and the end all of how makeup works.
So let me just say this for the record. I'm going to speak for myself. I don't think it's an enhancement at all, even if you're coming down the aisle with all the dress and all of that stuff. I just don't think it's an enhancement. And again, I pray to God, and I hope I don't have to eat any of this. If I have to apologize later, I'm going to apologize now, because
Well,
I'm not.
I think we need a camera on you, and I think we need to follow you around and see what does attract you and see what you look at. Find out if all of what you're saying is true.
Don't get me wrong. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let's go ahead and get this straight now. Don't think that if I see the enhancement, okay, if I see a butt lift or breast augmentation, I'm probably going to look. If I see a doll face made up, I'm going to look at that too. But again, look at what's happening to me. I'm getting excited about something that is superficial or not artificial or, not necessarily real. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I can see how people who like makeup and wear makeup, people who make makeup, who are in the industry, might feel threatened in some kind of way. But I'm apologizing. It's just my preference. Don't get me wrong. If I'm out on a date with a woman and she's got on makeup, yes, I'm going to be excited. But not once am I ever in life going to say, I sure wish you had some makeup on, or I sure wish you would put some on, or I wish you would put that same stuff on you had last week as you did now. I really think, and I'm going to say this, and this is going to be I'm going to let you close, but this is going to be my closing statement. I believe that heterosexual men are naturally attracted to women just because they are a woman, period. You can look like hell on wheels and toast. A man is going to be attracted to you because you are a woman. Makeup is not something we want. It's something we need. It's something we're going to request. And as natural as you can be, you bring the nature out of us more than you can imagine. The makeup does give a false sense of something, and we know that. And I'm just going to kind of leave it there. I don't want to tie my tongue around my head with this subject. So I'm going to try to back away slow. If you wear makeup, keep wearing it. I'm going to complain. I'm not going to knock anybody. But me personally, I can do without it, and I'll be okay if I never saw another made up face in my life. So you can say what you have to say now.
Well, there's something very sexy about a man who notices you, and I'll tell you for myself, when I go out, when a man notices a fragrance that I'm wearing and he can name that fragrance, there's something very intimate and kind of detailed about how he notices things. And I think that it's complimentary. We all like compliments. You do too. And I think that's just something very detailed that is interesting to find when a man does notice something like that. So I will leave it at that.
I am going to go ahead and co-sign on that. A nice smelling woman is very attractive. And we're not talking about fragrance, because I would rather smell a nice fragrance than, some of the stuff I've, passed by or have smelled. So we're not talking about that. We're going to keep it on the makeup. Even a nice dress. Oh man, there's nothing like a lady in a nice dress or a nice, outfit. Just some nice jeans. Women can wear jeans. That's fine. Nice heels or some flats. That's fine. We're not talking about dressing or dress or, shoes or
but there's
fragrance.
Attention to detail that you would probably notice. If I know you at all, Travis, you are a man that pays a lot of attention to detail and many nuances. And I think you probably notice all those things, whether she's got scuffed shoes, whether she's got her hair mussed up, what what she's wearing. I think you pay a lot of attention to detail.
And I'm not
maybe
alone.
That's why you notice the makeup. Maybe that's why you notice the makeup.
I'm not
so
alone. Everyone does. Most men do. Even if we don't say it, we see it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm guilty. Yes, I do pay attention to all kinds of detail. And finally, closing, just makeup is just one of those things that's not bad. Please keep wearing makeup if you do. Keep installing makeup if you install it. If you keep making it, if you make it, do what you do. But if you want to impress me, make your natural self look as good as you can, and then that'll be enough for me. And I believe I speak for at least one other man on the whole planet.
I think you speak for more than one other man. It's a good topic. It's a very good topic.
Okay, well,
It's more important to women than it is to men.
so Christine said it's a balance. I'm going to conclude or assume that she means that, okay, wear it if you need it and don't wear it if you don't need it. That is not remotely close. I don't know what she means exactly. But anyway, Kimberly, Christine, Tony, everybody, thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And thank you, ma'am, for being my guest. I don't say names on purpose, but I really appreciate you being my friend for a long time and being there when I need you, especially on this subject, because you were perfect, for a perfect person to hear this. Last thing, I keep saying last thing. Do I sound like a preacher closing again? You said this is a good topic. Could I have my foot in my mouth, by talking about that? Is it really a sensitive subject for some women? Am I being insensitive in any kind of way?
I think for some women, it might be, but then they probably would not be attracted to you. So I think that if somebody requires and wants to use it, they're going to use it or not. I think in today, since most people are working from home, you see women using it less than before. I know I have, since I'm not going into an office. I hardly wear anything. But I can say that the fact that men are not as interested in makeup as women are is true.
Okay. Well, I guess part 1A of this would be the insecurity. The reason people wear it. Some people wear it just because it goes with the outfit. Some people just will not leave home without it. And that's what I was kind of a little concerned. Some people will not leave the house and just think that they just can't live with it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close. I'm going to go ahead and really let you go. You got anything else you want to say before I let you go?
No, that's it. I enjoyed the topics tonight, and thanks for including me in your live stream tonight. I appreciate it. I've been listening for a while now and wouldn't miss it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Rest well. Do me a small favor as you make your way through the week, okay? Find somebody that you need to say I love you to. Don't just say it, but show it and mean it. Will you do that for me, please?
Absolutely.
It's your reasonable service. You're not doing it for me. You're doing it for yourself. You'll see when you do it. But thank you again. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Okay. Good night.
You too. Good night.
All right. There you go, folks. No fancy music because I'm still on the road gear, and it's cool. And thank you for this subject. Christine said it's a good subject, and I have to agree. It just caught me by surprise, and I heard the girl talking. And let me play it real quick. I want you to notice something as I play this. The girl who's listening, I think she's the blonde. She's not liking it. I'm going to play it one more time before I go. But watch the reaction of the girl who's listening. The girl who's talking she has some highlights or something in her hair. But the girl with the blonde, and she's not liking it. So Just listen and then I'll be right back. Stand by.
I don't like makeup. I'm against makeup. I don't think it's good for women, and I don't think they really need to be using it, honestly. I think it takes away.
That's awesome.
Makeup it's capitalizing on women's insecurities when it's something that they can easily fix. I think it takes away from a woman's natural beauty, and also it is so bad for you. Like, you think about how skin absorbs things. When you read the ingredients on a foundation bottle, what is in it? You can't even pronounce it.
It's just her opinion. That's all it is. It's something she said may not even be true, but it was something exciting for me. I'm glad I got to talk about it. And again, in closing, if I offended anybody, please forgive me. I didn't mean to. Anyway, till next time, take good care of yourself. You find somebody that you need to say I love you to. Say it. Don't just say it, but mean it. Okay? Good night.
Mighty Horn Music. Smooth jazz, top 40, R&B, inspirationals, and more. Live from the Hollywood Home Studio. Like, share, subscribe. And thanks for tuning in. SWYM. Swim. Say what you mean. As much as this information is designed to bring awareness to how we listen, hear, and process, it is also a form of therapy. The little person inside of all of us needs to be heard. As adults, even listening to ourselves is a form of healing, strengthening, and growth. It's okay to speak, talk, express yourself, and be heard, even if you're the only listener. If our testimony does anything at all for anyone else, that makes the continued effort worth the time. Get the words out. You'll feel better, and that's a promise. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
You know, sometimes it seems like all the good times are gone, but you got to keep on searching. You got to keep on keeping on. For example, take me standing right here today. I would not be here with you if I believed the things that the people say. You got to keep on searching.
Keep it on the cool side.
Keep on looking around.
Good night, y'all.